Yo, Mana Squad, if you like any of the cards you see in today's video, make sure to hit up the affiliate link down below to TCG Player. You can help look up some of your local game stores in the process and help show the channel some love. And you know you got to look good while you play in order to play good. So make sure you hit up our link to Into the AM as well. We have the discount code down in the description below. Look, you got to listen to Kenneth the Heathen. He always says something about dripping in space and screaming. We don't know what it means, but do what the man says. And last but not least, hit up Heavy Play. Heavy Play is going to have some of the nicest playmats and deck boxes out there. Their magnet system between their deck box and dice trays and playmat is amazing, especially if you're playing at like bars, restaurants, stuff like that. You got to get up and move. There is no better way to keep all your stuff together, and you can show the channel some love in the process. Stay petty.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Command Center, where we like to put our favorite commander, maybe even yours, front and center. And you know we can't do it unless we play those three fantastical letters, EDH. What does it stand for today, Hado Ken?
It stands for Envisioning Distance Horizon. That's right. When you walk away, you won't hear me say, please, oh, baby, don't go. If you know what that means, we talking about the Back to the Future, baby. Woo! Get in your DeLorean, bitches. Wait, what are we talking about for real, though?
I don't know if it was like a joke that you were trying to be sort of Final Fantasy adjacent, because that's the Kingdom Hearts song, which is also Final Fantasy like ish. I can't tell how deep there's too many layers to your jokes, Ken. I'm honestly confused as to if you did that on purpose, if it was an accident. I don't know, but it's a great song. That commercial had 12-year-old Derik needing to play Kingdom Hearts.
The world may never know. But yeah, so if you don't know by now, you're going to know someday that a new set is coming out, and it's going to be a full set, too. And you know what? Derik has been excited. He has been exploding all over the place, bouncing, doing crack. He was doing that before we got to Final Fantasy. But now he's out here. And you know the flip side? Sid don't know what any of this is. So now Derik can know what it feels like for us to be having all this pop culture knowledge. And he be sitting there looking like who shot John, like what the fuck, duck. And we up here trying to explain to him what's going on. So now today, Derik is Sid and Sid is Derik.
This is so exciting for me.
Yo.
Yeah.
Wait. Yo.
Okay.
I do want you guys
Trey Songs.
All right, yeah. So today I do basically want you guys to educate me on Final Fantasy. I see these cards and everything's just kind of glossing over me. It's a lot of text and a lot of pictures and animation that I feel like that needs to be explained to me. So I see something cool. I'm going to point it out. If you feel like it's a character that's worth mentioning and like, hey, this guy's important, this gal is important, this creature's important, let's talk about it and see how it like stacks up as a Magic card. Like this is it. This is Final Fantasy X Magic or Magic X Final Fantasy. I don't know who has the bigger claim. But yeah, let's start talking about like what's exciting. Like why should we be excited about this Final Fantasy set?
Well, I did need to say I am excited to reiterate. This is probably the only Universes Beyond that's going to get any sort of like full treatment that I will have any more knowledge than y'all two at ever. And for context, like I'm not even what you call like a super fan. There's some Final Fantasy fans that have played like every game 12 times, know every character's backstory. I've just played them, and that's puts me in the most knowledgeable role for the first and only time. So I'm very excited. Ken, I know you've played some too, so I figured we could kind of talk about real quick before we dive into the cards. We'll go through each game and then highlight some of our favorite characters to highlight like which games we've played. If we haven't played a game, we're just going to kind of skip it because we didn't play that. So we'll highlight some of our favorite characters, give you a backstory into our Final Fantasy backstory, and then figure out if we're making things up or if they're real or if we're just completely trying to confuse him, just like they do to me. So this is a perfect chance to reverse the roles and see how this goes. All right, so let's start. And so if y'all, they have everything. So this is a full set for anybody there's a full set and 4 commander decks. So the full set has every main set Final Fantasy game 1 through 16. And then there's 4 precons that has Final Fantasy 7, 10, I believe 6 and 14 are the way they broke it down, which I guess some of the most popular ones in the precons. And then we got everything in the main set. So let's start at the beginning. So one thing to point out, because I know, Ken, you mentioned this was one of your favorites. Again, they only did the mainline entries for Final Fantasy. So we're not going to get any part 2. So there's no Final Fantasy X Part 2. None of the spin-offs like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, okay.
None of the yeah.
I came in on Tactics. I came in on the 10-2 remake when the girls took over. So so they kind of skipped, but they gave us all the doctors, which is really weird.
I think it was just a sheer volume. I mean, 16 games is already so much to get. If they went into like side games and like at that point, you loop in Kingdom Hearts, like you started with Simple and Clean when you were singing that. Do we bring in? So I think they just wanted to keep it like condensed to some degree because we already have a lot of characters. So, all right, let's start with Final Fantasy 1. The OG, way back in the beginning. We've talked. So neither of y'all have played any of Final Fantasy 1. I don't even think y'all have seen any Final Fantasy 1.
So,
dude, I don't break the case until 7. So I'm gonna be sitting over here chilling until you get to 7. Then when you get to 7, we can have that conversation.
So I have not played any of the Final Fantasy games, but I know a little bit of the lore. I know you got like black mages and red mages and there's about Bahamut. So yeah, and I did look it up, and we were talking about it offline. But yes, there was a secret level in the first game. How do I know this? I do not know. I've never played it.
I clearly missed that. Yeah, the Final Fantasy 1 is like, I played it relatively recently because I started, later in the series, wanted to circle back and see some of the OGs, and it's like, it's very much just like a digital D&D campaign. We were talking about it. They got, I think, like Tiamat's in there. You fight Dracula. You fight all of the most, like, it's just you fight a bunch of fantasy creatures on this like very stereotypical fantasy journey where you have to unlock the light of these crystals and save the world. And then there's like this time loop, and one of the basically the most, because your own characters you make up your names for in some of the early games. You don't like have these named iconic characters like you do in later Final Fantasies. There's just generic characters. You make up names if you want. There's a bunch of weird suggested ones, and then you make their classes.
Well, there is one. They do kind of do like American riffs. Like there's this one dude who's called the Chicken Man, who's clearly Colonel Sanders.
If that was the case, apparently I missed all the good parts of this game. The best parts of this game. I need to replay it.
No, I'm doing the say what I do to you. I just make up some stuff and throw it in there just to see if he catches it or not. So whenever we talk about...
I was following.
Yo, I'm not going to say that I didn't believe you because, I mean, it's a JRPG. Why not?
Yeah, things can get weird. But so the iconic villain of Final Fantasy 1 is a knight you meet at the very beginning named Garland. And it turns out, spoiler alert for a game that's been out for way too long already, Garland's evil. And he's actually some sort of like demonic presence, and there's this time loop that you have to like go back in time and fight. And I don't remember all the specifics, it's been forever, but I remember there being some sort of time loop thing with the demon. So we got a card for Garland, Knight of Cornelia. Garland is a red and a black for a 3/2 that says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you surveil 1, which is just a powerful ability on its own. And then you can pay 7 mana, 3 black, black, red, red to return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield transformed as a sorcery. And for all that work, you get a 5/5 flyer that when it dies, it goes to the bottom of your library. So I'll admit, when I played this game, it was the pixel remaster, and you're able to use like sliders to kind of like buff your characters and like get more experience and make it so you don't have to grind through the game if you just want to experience it. I kind of overdone that, and this dude was a cakewalk, and I feel like the card accurately represents the cakewalk the game was, because this is terrible in the backside. You get a 7 mana 5/5 that dies, it goes to the bottom of your library. Yeah, it's not good, but it's a really cool character. I mean, he's kind of iconic. It's just I'm not gonna play him. I'm just gonna skip that one. Yeah.
Yes, once he dies, his fantasy is final.
Oh, got him.
Go find the corner.
All right, so
go find the corner and go stand in it. Don't do that.
So we're going to go to Final Fantasy II next. I'm not going to keep asking. Obviously, neither of y'all played 2. I have played Final Fantasy II. Final Fantasy II was iconic for it had a really weird experience system. So most Final Fantasy games have like either just regular leveling up, or like Final Fantasy X had a sphere grid, or some have materia systems. Final Fantasy II had this weird thing where you leveled up specific things by using them over and over. So if you had like a black mage skill, you could use like thunder over and over, and that would get stronger, or like your sword would get stronger. And it just turned into the most annoying system ever, because if halfway through the game you were like, oh, I don't want to use this anymore, let me use something else. It was like, ha, fuck you. Now you're stuck with this because you've been using it the entire time. I did not like the leveling system in 2 at all. And it's very similar to number 1, where it's regular fantasy. You're going on this journey to save the world from this emperor that's been like burning things down and all this terror and horror, and you have like these generically named characters. So again, you don't have the iconic face characters, but the Emperor of Palamecia is an iconic character from that game and also got their own card. And the Emperor has a blue and a red for a 2/2 human noble wizard. It's a mana dork that taps for either red or blue. Spend this only to cast a non-creature spell. Okay. Then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a +1 counter on the Emperor. Then, if it has 3 or more +1 counters on it, you transform it. So a fun fact, this is a huge thing in these first few Final Fantasy games. You meet this human character that seems good at first or seems normal, and they turn out to be a demon. Very straightforward. It's a very consistent theme.
All this is if you've ever played any game like Elden Ring, or you play something, this is all it is the second phase of the fight. That's all it is. All right, you beat their health down, and then they transform, and this ain't even their final form, and they get a full health bar. That's all this is.
Well, I'll say they treated the Emperor way better than they treated Garland, because the backside of this is the Lord Master of Hell, which one is just the greatest name for a card possible, the Lord Master of Hell. But it has an ability called Starfall. Whenever whenever the Lord Master of Hell attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard.
So basically,
now that's an ability.
So basically, whenever I punch somebody as the Lord of Hell, everybody else takes damage, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, if you're in a Spellslinger deck, you're just going to have a full graveyard. This one actually seems cool. Sorry, Seth.
No, I was just going to say, it sounds like your description of beating your enemy down and then they just rebuff like a Super Saiyan just sounds like a Friday night in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they got some Krispy Kreme and crack in them, you know.
Yo, speaking of Krispy Kreme and crack, I was reading an article that I think it was from IGN, and I don't know if I got butt crack sports. I don't know if I got butt crack, but the article said that
I'm sorry.
the makers
Wait. Butt crack sports, is this a thing, or are you just messing with me?
So it was always a joke. So there was this thing that would like, they would post fake articles about sports and people would fall for it, and it'd be you call it getting butt cracked, because like, oh, this isn't a real sports article, but they just posted this whole like story that was supposed to be real. NBA Centel, the getting Centelled, I think is the new thing, where they put fake NBA stories on NBA Centel, and then people think they're real, and then like reporters run with it and stuff, and then find out later it was just a troll online. So anyway, IGN story that might be fake. The makers of, I want to say it was Tekken, one of the fighting games, were trying to get Waffle House used as a level, and the execs at Waffle House refused to answer any of their requests, and that is just a shame. We deserve a fighting level in a Waffle House. I think that is the best. That is the best Universes Beyond of all time.
That's not what happened. So what happened was that they contacted the CEO, but then they thought the violent nature of the fights would actually give it more of a negative connotation, and they thought it would have hurt the brand. So they tried to work out and negotiate a deal where it might have been outside the Waffle House, but they were like, no, it's either inside the Waffle House and we can't, or we won't do it.
I think they should have a whole Waffle House Tekken game. The entire thing is just different Waffle House locations, and then the secret boss is always one of the chefs. I think that's just a crossover we need. Back to Final Fantasy real quick. So Final Fantasy III. This one, again, neither of y'all played. I have played Final Fantasy III. Nothing. It's basically, look, 1, 2, and 3 to me, it's like I played the same game 3 times with a slightly different story. Not much has changed. The job system's a little better in 3. Not as annoying. You have this cool system where, like, as you progress throughout the game, more and more jobs get unlocked. So instead of just having like black mage and white mage and this and that, you get like you get like Viking and dark paladin and dark knight, and you end up with like 20 jobs, and you can like level up your jobs as you go. It's a pretty cool system. But one of the characters that's not only specific to 3, but I wanted to talk about 3's version because you meet him very early. Do y'all know about Cid and Final Fantasy, and the fact that every Final Fantasy game effectively has its own Cid?
Yeah, I just came across that. Like, there's like 15 of them. I guess is based on the number of games, I suppose. But yeah, is this like a time traveler or something like that? Or he just shows up in every era?
It's like an anthology because he's never the same Sid. It's always a different Sid. So each game, even like Tactics, we were talking about some of the spin-offs and stuff, those all have their own Sids as well. So Sid is his own character in every Final Fantasy game. And they gave like art to each of them in this set, which is awesome. So you get to see all the different Sids.
Yeah, it's 2 in Azorius for a 4/4 human artificer. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each artificer you control, and each artificer card in your graveyard. A deck can have any number of cards named Sid Timeless Artificer. That's kind of cool. I bet you guys didn't know that there is a legendary creature that has artificer support
In the set or just like in life?
in life,
In existence?
in real for real.
And for real. Who
In a
is
real
that?
for real world. Let me just find that name real quick. Then we move on.
you didn't even know.
Shut up.
Making stuff up. Do you guys know that there's a secret? I don't even think the secret level was real. He just wants to feel included. He's like,
You
I
got-
gotta trick them.
You
They're gonna try
guys
to trick me. I'm gonna show their asses something.
you guys want to know some shit? Well, so do I.
All right. So, yeah. Hold on.
Oh, you still Googling.
Yeah.
it,
So,
huh?
He's trying to make sure. Put the finger across the screen. Let me make sure I read this correctly.
all right. Yeah. So the card I'm talking about was the Archimandrite. I can barely say it, but it's Archimandrite 2 in
Can't even pronounce
Jeskai.
it.
Shut up. I'm right here. But basically, it says that whenever you gain life, each advisor, artificer, or monk you control gains vigilance and gets +X/+O to end a turn where X is the amount of life you gain. So you can buff up those artificers even more if this character is out.
I do find it so interesting. This is the first you can have any number of card that's legendary, right? I'm just going to assume because it makes no sense.
Yeah. I believe it. Yeah.
You can't have more than one on the battlefield. You can only have one at a time, yet you can have 30 in your deck. It's so weird. It flavor wise, it's perfect. Like it is a flavor win, but it's the strangest mechanic I've ever seen.
No,
but I guess the purpose is you have one out and you cycle the rest.
No, like the purpose, like you just keep playing them and they literally just keep dying and going to the graveyard, but they literally live off the history of the ones that came before it.
It's almost like what the Doctor Who card should have did.
Yeah,
Like,
actually,
you should have been honestly. The Doctor Who's card should have worked like birthing pod. Like you should have been able to sack one and get another doctor.
Ooh, I'm just picturing like something like molting out of a cocoon, and they're just like ripping the skin off.
Well, you've
all
clearly never
like
seen
a
Doctor Who.
supernatural shapeshifter.
You clearly never seen Doctor Who. Jesus Christ!
Is that not how it happens? I pictured it like Supernatural, where the skin shifters or the shapeshifters like just tear the skin off and it's just like and blood all over the wall, and then they're a new form and they run away and somehow don't have any blood on them.
Said you. I mean, Derek, you were supposed to be the expert on this one. So let's go. Let's go
You're
back
supposed
to
to be the chosen one.
You were the chosen one, etiquette. Until I chopped your fucking legs off.
All right, so we're gonna speed through these next three. I have not played 4, so none of us have played 4. I have not played 5, and in really sad news, I haven't played 6. It's on my like backlog of games I need to play. I've heard it's one of the best, if not the best. I have not played 6.
Don't give a hot shit. Let's get to 7 where we belong.
I'm a heathen.
Right?
Let's get to 7. So, Ken, you and I have both played 7, obviously.
Is seven Advent Children? Is that where that movie come from?
That is shut your mouth and your ass.
Is that Advent Children? Is that I know something? Pick me, Sensei.
Ken, I'll let you take it.
It's also
Talk to me about 7. Let's talk about 7.
Dirge of Cerberus if you want to do offshoots too.
But
Go
yeah,
ahead,
so
Sid.
Final Fantasy VII is not only talked about as the best Final Fantasy. I remember growing up, this was talked about as like just the best game ever.
Yeah, you might want to pull back a little bit on that one, homie. King of Hearts is still out there. I need you to chill.
I'm just saying the reputation. I remember when this game came out, that first cutscene on a PS1 was mind blowing.
when the disc was spinning and your PS1 was heating up like it was about to explode.
Hey, was it 2 or 3 discs? I remember because I have it literally in the box next to me right here. I still have my OG case with the multiple discs in it. And like that first rendered cutscene though on a PS1, everything was 3D. It was crazy.
Respect, but of course, go ahead, say it. Tell us what you know.
Oh yeah, Cloud McGirt was riding on his motorcycle, and then all of a sudden these 3 other dudes and maybe an androgynous person was also riding on their motorcycles. And this is a long movie. You want me to explain this entire movie?
No. I'm good because you ain't even explaining the movie right. You don't even got the movie right. Jesus Christ. Jesus, you jacked up on the movie. No,
What are you talking about? I explained the movie so far perfectly.
So 7 gives us the greatest hits. Of course, we get the One Wing Angel known as Sephiroth, which had one of the best intros that we ever saw. We also get the Omni Slash with the Buster Sword. You know, we get the greatest hits. We get one of the best scenes ever. Aeroth catching that heat because she needed to die quick, fast, in a hurry. She deserved that death. That's what you get for slacking.
And I think that was the end of the first disc too. Spoiler alert, when she dies. So that's like such a moment of like, do I even want to keep playing? Like, do I want to go to the second disc? Like,
She should have
like
literally.
it made you feel some shit.
I like her card because it says "Wish she dies." It should have been "Rest in peace," but her card is 1 is 2 is 3 2 and a white. She's a life link creature, which is funny because she died like hell. But whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on her. Whenever she dies, you put X11 counters on each legendary creature you control, where X is the number of L11 counters on her. So, you know, she kind of supports the team, which is pretty much her role in the game.
Wait, Ken, did she die? I didn't gather that from you. I want to be sure. I needed to be sure of what you said. Did you just say she died? It wasn't clear.
She went to go see Uncle Charles. She was on the crossroads. Sam and Dean was trying to make a deal with her. Like, yeah, she's super dead.
I want to talk about, you already mentioned the name of the character, but this card is just so incredibly like badass and fitting the character. You mentioned Sephiroth. Sephiroth is also like, even if you don't say that's one of the most iconic villains ever. Like Sephiroth is one of the most badass villains that I could think of in a game, and the card is ridiculous. So Sephiroth, Fabled Soldiers, 2 and a black. Whenever it enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. If it's the 4th time this ability is resolved this turn, you transform him. So it's like a Blood Artist, but then transforms. Again, Final Fantasy loves transforming into things. Into an Angel Nightmare Avatar, a 5/5 flyer, Supernova. As this creature transforms into Sephiroth, One-Winged Angel, you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. You get a Blood Artist emblem with this. It's on flip, and then whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures if you do draw that many cards.
Jesus Christ. Gosh. Jesus, this literally wipes his ass with Meat Hook Massacre. Jesus Christ. And I gotta put this out there: if fighting him in Final Fantasy was hard, fighting him in Kingdom Hearts was worse. So much worse. I almost broke the damn TV trying to fight him. As a matter of fact, I put it like this: fighting Sephiroth was worse than fighting Melania.
Oh, damn. I would probably agree. I didn't have much trouble with Melania.
All I know is Sephiroth got that character design that's just like, I am edgy, leave me alone. I will destroy you, your clan, and your entire lineage. Because the drip just don't stop dripping. Like, the drip don't stop dropping.
Sephiroth was in a boy band, was in a K-pop band, and he was like, I want a solo. So he told everybody else to kiss his shiny shoes, and he moonwalked to oblivion. I'm telling you, Sephiroth was the truth.
You guys don't know I'm about to leave my band. Yeah.
So I get on stage, right, drop the mic, walk up to these hot chicks, and I'm all like, sorry. Gotta stop myself. That is one song I can word for word. That was a great, terrible song. All right. I got distracted. Now I'm thinking of my band. You said what?
A song comes on and it reminds me of you, so wait, wrong song. Never mind.
That's the wrong one.
But yeah, sorry. What's
up, ladies? My name's Slim Shady, and I'm the lead singer of D12, baby. And they're all like, "Oh my God, it's him, Becky! Oh my fucking God, it's really him." Okay, now I'll actually go. Okay, the next card, Clever Concealment. This is like one of my favorite. I think a lot of people's favorite, like one of the funnier parts of the game. I think this is like the first, like probably 5 or 6 hours of the game. Cloud has to go rescue someone. There's like this, like I think it's supposed to be like a mob boss that also has like sex workers at his place of work, and you have to go in and save her. So you have to dress up as one of the sex workers. So Clever Concealment is 2 women in like whatever video game lingerie, and then Cloud dressed up in a dress, like trying to sneak in, not at all looking like literally like looking like he's about to beat some ass, because he's like, all right, whose ass do I have to kick right now? It's just it's a funny part of the game, and they added that art to Clever Concealment, which is an existing card. It's the Convoke card that you get to phase out some of your non-land permanents, like Teferi's Protection type things. So that's my personal favorite. Just looking through the Commander deck, I thought that was funny that they put that art on that card. That Final Fantasy VII Precon is going to be amazing, just because looking at the art, everything just speaks to you. It all looks so good. Like they have all the best moments, the biggest moments in the game captured in this art. And it looks wonderful. Yeah, we're not going to go into every card, but 7 is, if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII, do it. And they even have the remake now. If you can't get over old school graphics and you need shiny things, you can play the new version, I guess.
Oh my God, they have Adventurelands. But yeah, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, we'll keep it moving. All right, so Final Fantasy 8 and 9. Again, I feel like a terrible person. 8 and 9 I've heard are 2 of the best. I have not played those yet. Those are also on my backlog of ones to get to. After I catch up, I'm in the middle of 4 right now. As I catch up on all of them. So 8 and 9, I've heard they're great. Don't have much to say about them. But Final Fantasy X.
There we go. My boy
Final
Titus.
Fantasy X, we got some stuff to say.
My boy Titus putting in there Wizard, and let's talk about one of the best games ever created, Blitzball. I want to point out that there was a Blitzball tournament at one point, and I did get my ass all the way stumped out. But you know what? It was worth entering.
So the funniest thing is, again, I played more of Final Fantasy X than I think any game in my life. I mentioned it, like we have a group text. I was talking about how I probably played more Blitzball than I've played like the second place video game in hours I've played in my life. I've platinumed Final Fantasy X with where you have to dodge lightning bolts for like 17 hours just to get a stupid trophy in that game. I don't know where they decided that was a place where that was a trophy, but you also have to beat Blitzball, which takes forever, and you recruit all these players whose names I do not remember to win. So with Final Fantasy X, I played all those hours, and I remember I still don't necessarily know the correct pronunciation as a kid. We always went back and forth between Titus and Titus and could never figure out which one was correct, because I don't think they say it in that game. They don't say it in 10. I believe it's set in Kingdom Hearts, and that's where they say Titus, I believe.
They say Titus in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, but as a kid, until Kingdom Hearts came out, I didn't know how that name was pronounced. So we would have like debates about it, trying to figure out, is it Titus or Titus? And then finally Kingdom Hearts came out whenever it did and settled it. But that was a big thing. All right, so Final Fantasy X. Sorry, what were you saying?
Nerd.
Yes, I mean, obviously, come on. Massive nerd. Final Fantasy X, for anyone who's not familiar, this was the first jump to PS2. So almost how Final Fantasy VII had that like, oh my gosh moment of getting into 3D for the first time after having the like PS or the NES, SNES style stuff. Going from PS1 to PS2, Final Fantasy X at the time was the most beautiful game I had ever seen. Those cutscenes, that Sin cutscene in the beginning when you're in Xanarkand and you're like playing Blitzball and he does that little backflip and he looks back and he sees Sin coming in to destroy the city, like that cutscene, I remember at the time I was like, video games can't get any prettier. These are the greatest graphics that will ever exist. PS2 is the peak of technology. Like, oh my gosh, that was.
You go back and look at it now, you're like, dear God, how much drugs was I smoking? This looks horrible. But also the summons were on point too, like the Bahamut summons. Like the summons were the chef's kiss right there.
Yeah, and the whole purpose of that game is you're basically on this pilgrimage with Yuna, where you're her protector because Sin attacks your city, Xanarkin. You wake up not knowing where you are, and you get like rescued on some boat. Your Xanarkin's now a place from way in the past. You don't know what happened, and you're basically following Yuna on this pilgrimage the whole time. If you, I don't want to spoil. If you haven't played 10 and 10 Part 2, play 10 Part 2. If you haven't played those two games more than anything, I love 10 too. I love that game. So at least play 10. The story, I don't even want to spoil anything in it. Sin, I thought, was one of the best villains I've ever seen in a game, just because it was so like otherworldly. Because I feel like a lot of times villains, it's like they're so comically evil, I don't even understand. But Sin had this like monstrous otherworldly, almost like if we're talking magic, an Eldrazi level like fear to him. It's just great. Okay. But yeah, so before I go on a rant for hours about Final Fantasy X, we could just talk about some of the cards. The precon specifically, the art, they've done such a good job of capturing iconic moments. So before we get into the specific cards, like the Inspiring Call, it's an existing card, draw cards, protect your +1 counter creatures, whatever. But it has the scene where they're doing the really poorly voice acted laugh of the just ha ha ha, and the flavor text is just ha 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 ha. Like that's it's just great. They have Yuna's whistle as one of the scenes in the game. They have all of the summons. Oh, the summons. So Seth, I want to get your opinion on summons, because I think this is my favorite part of the Final Fantasy X precon. My favorite part of the set is how they were able to capture these summons as saga creatures, which just seems like such a crazy concept, but also like the most amazing concept.
I gotta be honest. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's actually quite perfect with the way that the summons are actually designed in the game.
Yeah, based on what I'm looking here, basically they're just sagas. But this is, I don't know if we said this in another video, but I feel like this is what Planeswalkers should have been. Like, I show up for a little bit, and then I peace out. Like,
it might get cut, but I literally just said that. Like, that's 100%. Like, they're there, they do their thing, and then they're out. Like, that just feels what it needed to be. I will say, of the summons, I think my favorite flavor-wise is the Magus Sisters, because they kind of had that random aspect. I remember when I was trying to learn how to use the Magus Sisters, it was always kind of a pain, like trying to figure it out. And the fact that they have 3 chapters with 3 abilities, and you choose one at random each time is just, oh, it's so perfect. Sorry, Seth, you can keep going.
Oh no, Bahamut was the only summon that I've seen so far. I was trying to look for some others.
That's all you need. That's all you need. That's all you need. What are you talking about? You looking for more? You already got the fries on your plate.
That Bahamut is something serious. Almost winged dragon of Ra going on over here.
Bahamut was Exodia. Just put it like that.
I don't think you understand. Winged dragon of Ra beats Exodia.
It's so good. It's, oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't get over how good this are. And I'm even looking at the ones outside of the precon. It's just they killed it. Everything, the flavor, and even some of like even the characters that you get that have precon and non-precon versions. Oh my gosh. Even the Cid, the bald Cid from the airship. They even got the Cid perfect for the art. Okay. Final Fantasy X, play it. I don't even evaluate any cards. We just yelled, but it doesn't matter. And now Final Fantasy XI was an MMO, so I played none of it.
None of it. So was 14, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, we'll get. 14 is a popular one. I did play neither. So Final Fantasy 12.
Fran, and she's not even in the game. Fran is not in the game, and I'm kind of upset about that.
What do you mean Fran's not in the game?
No, Fran's not. I didn't see a Fran card.
I believe there is. Hold on. We're going to peek. We're looking in real time. Maybe it has the spoilers aren't done at the time of recording. We have a good chunk of the cards. We don't have all of them. So we may not have a Fran. Oh, yeah. Balthier and Fran.
Wait, where?
It's a Gruul card. So Balthier and Fran, we can read it real time, is 1 red and a green. For a 4/3 with reach, vehicles you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance and reach. And whenever a vehicle crewed by Balthier and Fran this turn attacks, if it's the first combat, you may pay 3 mana, 1 red, green. If you do after this phase, there's an additional combat.
I don't see that card on my list, but I'm going to believe you.
If I made that up in real time, it would be impressive. I wish I had that sort of a mental capacity. But yeah, 12 was fun.
Oh, yeah.
12 was that was a fun game.
That's when the cosplayers really start stepping out with Final Fantasy too, because you just like that Final Fantasy was a huge draw in the cosplay community because that was like the go-tos there.
One of the big things for 12 too, it was like 10. There was such a big gap between 10 and 12. At least it felt like it as a kid. And 11 was an MMO. So it was like, if you were a big fan of 10, you got 10 Part 2, and then you had, so it was like the first big mainline, like regular new Final Fantasy game in a minute. And yeah, 12 was great. Yeah, I wish I remembered more of the villains. Honestly, I remember the characters. I don't remember as many of the villains. It's been a long time since I played that game. 13. Did you play 13?
There we go. All right. First of all, we were lied to. All right, we were lied. I thought it was gonna be open world. It was on a goddamn rail, and that pissed. Cause you think 13 was beautiful. 13 was amazing. They say they didn't have turn-based combat, but it was technically turn-based because you can only attack within this window. Lightning looked amazing. Vanilla was annoying as shit. Lightning looked amazing. The gameplay looked. If I had to give a rating for how it looked, 10 out of 10. It looked like perfection. I remember the night I bought it, I was staying in line to get it, and I was like, okay, when are we going to get to the open world aspect? And it doesn't happen until like 10 hours into the game, and then at that point, it's almost over.
Yeah, I didn't like 13.
Hope was a bitch.
I didn't like 13.
Hope was
I was hyped for it. I was ready for it because I think that was the first one on PS3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it just, I'm cool with linear games. It just dragged on. There were some segments of the game that I don't think I ever finished it, and it was just, yeah.
I clocked maybe 4 or 5 hours, and I was like, because it was literally too linear. And it was like, I'm literally on a rail system. Everything is just guiding me through the game. And it was a horrible rail system, too. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I talked to my friend. He was like, yeah, it opens up at the end of the game. And then you got literally like maybe an hour of gameplay of open world. And then you go to the final boss. And I was like, oh, spoiler alert, 10 years later. But, yeah.
Well, we can at least shout out Lightning's card, though. Because Lightning does have a pretty cool card. Lightning is 1 red and a white for a 3/2 human soldier with first strike, trample, and lifelink. It's got stagger. So whenever Lightning deals combat damage to a player until your next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or permanent that player controls, it deals double that damage instead. So if you hit someone until your next turn, everybody just gets to beat up on that person and deal double damage.
Which is actually how she works in the game.
And with first strike, trample, lifelink, that's wonderful. That is some petty shit. You get a little poke in and be like, everybody else go to town. y'all can take care of the rest. I just needed to get that 1 damage in. Y'all do the rest. That's I like that card. All right, so 13, we only got a few left. 14, we can skip right over because it's an MMO. I don't play MMOs. I don't like to talk to people. So I missed that, which is crazy because so many cards in this set are from 14. There are so many cards from 14. I was looking through, I was like, people must love Final Fantasy 14 because it got its own precon, and in addition to the precon, a whole list of things. So yeah, 14 must be beloved. Now let's go to 15. Did you play any of 15?
The best thing I know about 15, first of all, I was lied to because they introduced the main character who was like doing teleportation stuff. The best part about 15 was Chocobo, but outside of that, not a huge fan.
I loved 15. I played all the way through, beat 15, did most of the post game stuff. I fell in love with that game. I loved the like mix of traditional Final Fantasy with like the more modern, like you're driving a car around. Sid is a mechanic. Like there's all these things that I felt like it was a cool, and it felt very open world. You got to explore the world. A lot of the mini games were fun too. Like I loved fishing and little things like that. The combat system was great, where you really felt like you were teleporting and jumping around and everything. And for Final Fantasy, I prefer turn-based combat in my Final Fantasy games, but they did such a good job of balancing like the jumping around and everything that it reminded me of other combat systems. It was unique the way they did it, and I had a really fun time with it. And the story was great. I really enjoyed 15 story. And there's a few of the most iconic characters from 15 got some pretty cool cards. So we got Noctis, who's like the main character for 15 that you're following around.
One in Esper for a 4/3 human noble with lifelink. You may cast artifact spells from your graveyard by paying 3 life in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, it enters with a finality counter on it. This feels like some said shit. I'm just going to throw it out there. Throw in a bunch of weird artifacts into your graveyard and then just getting to cast however many you want.
Yeah, there's a demon that just lets you pay life for that colored mana that you would spend. So you could really cast artifacts for life if this demon is out.
All roads lead back to the demon.
Oh gosh. Yes, I know who you're talking about. If you cast things from graveyard, so yeah,
whenever you cast something from your graveyard.
Oh my gosh, you'd be paying a whole lot of life, but you could still basically just storm off and get
Esper. You'll get it back.
There's ways around it. There are ways around it. Speaking of demons, I also wanted to talk about one of the other iconic characters. I guess the villain, I should say, from 15 is Arden the Usurper, who had one of the creepier vibes, I'll say, of a character in a Final Fantasy game. And they gave him the most just splashy demonic effect you could have. So Arden the Usurper's 5 black for an elder human noble. Demons you control have menace, lifelink, and haste. We got a demon lord. There we go. And it's got Star Scourge. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target creature from a graveyard. If you exile the card this way, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 5/5 black demon. So it costs a whole lot of mana to get this thing out, but if you get this out with a full graveyard, you're getting a ton of menace, lifelink, hasting 5/5 demons with whatever you have in your graveyard. That just seems awesome. It does not seem powerful because it costs so much, but it seems awesome.
This is going to Modrotha.
It's demon time. It's demon time. It's demon time.
It looks so much fun. It's so good. All right, so that's. I think we'll close it at that for 15, and then 16. I don't think any of us have played. 16 was the newest one. Spoiler alert: I was never able to get a PS5 because I lost every damn little lottery you had to go into and try to get one, and I never got one. And then I got frustrated enough to where I've now boycotted it and refused to buy one. So I do not own a PS5, so I can't play 16. It looks cool. One day I'll play it if they release it elsewhere. I don't know. Hopefully it gets out there. So, Ken, you said you haven't played 16 though.
No, I have not. I have not had the time. I still have to finish Baldur's Gate, and I still have to finish Diablo 4, which I'm still way behind, and I still got to finish a boatload of games that are just sitting up here collecting dust. So I will not even lie to you and say I will attempt to play 16.
It's not happening.
Because I do not have the time to play the games that I actually do have now.
And
I'm trying to still play
I'm so
Magic.
behind. And I'm so behind.
You haven't played any of them.
And I'm so behind. I'm still trying to finish The Legend of the Dragoon, Disc 3.
That's
What the hell? What the hell?
it's been
is
a
that?
while. He's on a slow journey.
That was my Final Fantasy.
That was PS1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
so
PS2. PS2.
That was PS2?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I didn't know PS2 had multi-disc games.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of a different game.
I'm so behind. I'm on season 2 of One Piece.
I'm so behind. I've never seen One Piece.
Well, you'll never finish.
All right, so I hope y'all enjoyed the little journey we took you all on with us today of just we yell things about games we've played. Honestly, I feel like that's what Universes Beyond is about. I'm curious on y'all's opinion. I've stopped caring about what the cards say for any Universes Beyond set. I'll be completely honest. I have no attention span for it. I don't know what any of them do. I just look through the cards and be like, I remember that from that, and it gets me excited. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I find cards that look pretty that just like, oh man, that character looks emblematic of something I'm feeling right now. And then I'll build around it with other cards from other Universes Beyond and just become a Universes Beyond sandwich. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see how these cards stack up within, I guess, the Final Fantasy environment. I guess maybe even standard environment. This is one standard. This is one standard, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be in standard.
Yeah. So I wonder what that meta is gonna look like. I'm just curious.
All I know is I'm biding my time to Spider-Man come out, and then I'm going to be a whole demon on this show. You know what? You think you know something? I'm going to tell you something, Derik, and then I'm going to make 50% of it's going to be bullshit. But I want you to know this right now. I know my Spoderman. I know my Spoderman very well. As the great Uncle Ben said before he died and kicked the rice bucket, why are you in my house? But yeah,
I do love that the one topic, and I'm sure all y'all out there are tired of listening to me talk. The one topic that I know the most about is literally something where I've played like 40% of the games when I was 12. That's my most knowledgeable topic. Whereas Ken, you can write a dissertation on Spider-Man and probably still have more to say. Our expertise is not the same. So, yeah, y'all out there, did you ever play Final Fantasy games? Are you excited for the Final Fantasy cards? Is it just another Magic set to you? Or is it just something where it's, where does Universes Beyond fall? Let us know, because I can't read any more card text. My brain broke. I've stopped processing cards post 2018, and that's where I'm at, and that's where I'm going to be. That's the beauty of Commander. You don't have to keep up.
And if you've never played Final Fantasy, that's okay. There's a game called Kingdom Hearts that pretty much tells the whole story inside of 3, maybe 4 games. And we're still waiting for another one to come out, but that'll be 20 years from now. Oh, God, I'll never forget.
And if you're like me, and your only entry to Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy Advent Children, and you were lost from 0 till an hour and 30 minutes went by, yeah, you're like me.
This is so goddamn sad.
Let us know in the comments below what y'all think. I'm really curious to know where everybody falls on this. This set's gonna be. People are gonna love this set. I mean, like, I think the only downside, and I've mentioned this before, is when I see these cards. It's the first time where I see a set and I'm like, I just want to go play Final Fantasy. I don't want to play Magic, which I don't know if this is the intended effect. But every time I see new cards, I'm like, I really need to replay that game, as opposed to I need to build a new deck. So hopefully that's just me, and hopefully people will get more excited to play the cards because they seem really awesome. And yeah.
All right, everybody, thank you guys for watching. Join us for the next one. Tell a friend, tell an enemy to come see about us. And, of course, we'll be at MagicCon Vegas. We'll see you guys out there. Like and subscribe. But until next time, keep playing Final Destination.